Do you want me to? Okay, all right. So I am going to call the regular meeting of council for October 14th, 2025 to order. I'm filling in for Mayor McCormick tonight. I'm surprised I'm allowed to do this again too. I would like to recognize that we are on the homeland of the Tanaha Nation. Maurice, do we have any late items?
We don't have it. We only have one late addition to the UBCM conference council members reports. Councillor Curran's reports was added to the agenda after it was published to the public. So the agenda has been updated for that, and it can be considered at the same time as the other reports.
Oh,
Other than that, there's no late item.
okay. So I need a motion to adopt the October 14th, 2025 regular council agenda. Councillor McGuire, seconded Councillor Cairns. All in favor? Yes. Anyone opposed? No. Okay. I was just supposed to ask. Okay. I need a motion to adopt the minutes of the regular council meeting of September 8th, 2025. Councillor McBain, Councillor Robert seconds. All in favor? No one's opposed. Good stuff. Okay, and the minutes of September 8th, 2025. Wait, no, I have that twice. I have that twice. That's not on me. No, that is on me. Sorry. That's on me. That was on me. My fault. Okay, May 26th, 2025. Accessibility Advisory Committee. I need a Councillor McGuire and seconder Councillor McBain. All in favor? Thank you. That one was ugly, guys. I'm sorry. I'll get better. Okay, and minutes from the Accessibility Advisory Committee meeting held July 7th, 2025. Councillor Roberts and Councillor McGuire seconds. All in favor? Perfect. Okay. And all right, that wasn't too painful, right? That wasn't too terrible. Okay, so we have a delegation from RCMP, Constable, oh, I'm going to say your name wrong, Corbeil, filling in for someone else. So I'll let you get to it and hand it over to you.
Oh, good evening, everyone. My name is Constable Clint Corbeil. I'm with the Kimberley detachment here. I'm standing in for our sergeant who is away on paternity leave, Dan Biggs. And we also have another member off on medical, and that would be Dean Kletzel, who's our corporal. So I got the nod today to come and address you guys for the meeting. So without further ado, I'd like to just get right into it. So the Kimberley RCMP, in consultation with the partners, including the City of Kimberley, our objectives for this year are three things: traffic impaired driving, youth, police and community relations. Calls for service in this quarter from July to the end of September. We've responded to a total of 551 calls for service. Compared to the first quarter, we have an increase of about 11%. This increase is due to probably more so the summer months, is usually where our file generation is gone up. We do get a lot of traffic complaints and calls of that nature on the roads. So that's where that is probably coming from. Members have been proactively doing a lot of vehicle contacts on a daily basis. Our relationship with the schools here in Kimberley is very strong. We all take it quite seriously. We do as much as we can to attend, especially Selkirk School, due to the fact that these young adults are, slowly starting to come out. And I feel that, if we're out there and we're making those contacts, the people are more receptive to, say something to us versus when we're not in there. So we have been doing a lot of also younger contacts with the preschools and also down in Marysville. I would like to mention that a good number of our members here still on staff are coaches in the community. Myself personally, I coach volleyball. Rebecca Aerosmith, she's a soccer coach. We have a rugby coach, and Dean is very active in the hockey community here. So all of us are very, and Doug Wilson, who just came to us from Caslo this winter, he also is into hockey, and he's been going out with I think it's the U19 girls. He's been out on skates with them. So files of interest. The summer was very busy for us. Our manpower was down about 40%, meaning you'll see some of our traffic stats are a little bit lower than we'd like to have them, but that is reflected in because of how many bodies we've been down. We do have another member that is on medical. She's currently going to be off probably for the next year. And as far as the other long-term, we just got permission to fill his spot. So we are going to see an increase in numbers here shortly. It's just a matter of getting that body into Kimberley. Files of interest, September 1st, the Kimberley RCMP responded to 3 persons who fell into the Meacham Falls, subsequently were unfortunately located deceased. This file happened to carry over for approximately 7 days. Everyone, like I said, was recovered with the assistance with the Kimberley Search and Rescue, Police Dog Service, our drone operators, the RCMP dive team, Bighorn Helicopters, Search and Rescue. And due to the fact that this file, it had an international component to it, the people were from Mexico, so we did have to do a lot of engaging with the Mexican consulate as well. So it was a very in-depth file, and trying to deal with everything was a very large time-consuming file. So September 25th, which was just recently, we responded to a large structure fire at the Skookumchuck pulp mill, in which were the warehouse, holding equipment machinery burnt down. The loss is substantial in value. I haven't got an exact number, but I was advised it was between 4 and 5 million potentially. So that's an ongoing investigation at this current time. We're working with fire investigators to determine the cause and if there is any criminality associated to that file. Community involvement. So we decided this year to reignite the Kimberley RCMP charity golf tournament. So it's been about 10 years since we've done it. We decided to get it going, so we did so this year down at Purcell. They're a fantastic host for us, and we were able to raise approximately $15,000 for the Summit Community Services from this event. Something that the past detachment commander was very fond of was providing to the people that were less fortunate. With that being said, we, as discreetly as possible, we try to get food hampers to the less fortunate families in town. So there is going to be a little bit of change to how we deliver that program, as we're not going to be dropping off the goods anymore. We will be referring them to the place that provides our hampers. But as far as the members going and delivering them personally, we're going to just make a small change to that. It's just, you know, being a small community, it's very difficult not to show bias to some people. So, yeah. Block Watch program is up and running. The group will be looking for more participation from the community. I'll be hosting information sessions in the near future. So at 10:30, most mornings, if you see the police vehicles up at Pineview, that's us. We go up there at 10:30, we serve coffee to the old folks. And if we don't get there at 10:30, we try to make it up there at 3:30. So usually, I'm going to say 3 or 4, sometimes 5 times a week, we try to get up there. It's turned out to be a fantastic thing. They look forward to seeing us. When we first started, there might have been 8 people around the table, and some days we have to bring in more tables. We have 20 plus people. So it's a fantastic thing. And we spend about a half an hour there, and we serve them coffee and hand out treats and have good conversation. And it's a lot of fun. So, as I was saying, Kimberley our resources. Sergeant Biggs arrived here on September 3rd, and he will be off until January 4th, 2026. In the interim, myself and Corporal Dean Kletzel will be running the detachment. Dean will be off for the next month. He's be back on, I believe it's November 11th. So I'll be the person to be in contact if you guys have any questions or comments about what you would like to see with the police. As far as the type of the reporting, I'm not going to read through how our files were broken down for this quarter as far as what you see. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. You will see that road checks did go down substantially down to 0. And I'm not sure if that's a good reflection as to what we're out there. It's more to do with the manpower. Usually when we do road checks, we like to have multiple members. And sometimes this summer it just wasn't possible due to our staffing numbers. So you still did get your road check or the vehicle checks done, but we just didn't have the manpower to do the full one. I know Southeast District Traffic Service did come up, and I know they have conducted some down on the St. Mary's at the intersection of 95A. So we are still getting some visibility that way. So I'd like to ask if you guys have any questions.
Councillor McBain?
Thanks, Clint, and good job for filling in tonight. I know it's tough when you gotta just kind of get the nod and come in. One question I had, well, first of all, I really appreciate the ongoing, outreach, especially to the seniors and the food hampers. And even if you're changing the program a little bit, it's still great that that you guys are active in those areas. With regards to meeting with the school and Selkirk in particular, I assume it's one of the topics that you folks have talked about with them, but the increase in e-bikes, I know that they, our two youngest go to Selkirk currently, and there's emails put out by the school, talking about this stuff. But I was wondering what kind of conversations go on with you folks, especially with, kids who maybe don't know the rules of the road, even though they're supposed to follow them. Just, your thoughts on that.
Absolutely. Constable Doug Wilson has taken on sort of that front. It's something he has done in the past with the fire department as well, because they went and they spoke to Selkirk in regards to e-bikes and the legalities around them and etc. So there's a PowerPoint currently as we speak being drafted, and we're going to be for sure up and running in the spring and going over exactly the do's and don'ts and what wattage can be allowed and what is considered a motor vehicle. At this time, the main one that we're enforcing is the ones without pedals. If the e-bike doesn't have pedals, it's no different than a motor vehicle. So, and you do see them around, and we're trying to do as much education as possible, but education at some point is going to end, and we're going to have to start doing more. So, because I know it was August when we had a rash of the, youth, and there's actually, I'd like to say it wasn't just youth. I had a lot of adults actually that were in the Platzl. And I had a lot of educational talks with people, trying to get them to slow down and trying to get them to mind the rules of the road, because they don't realize that they have to follow no different than a motor vehicle on the road when they're on. So swerving in and out, you can be charged. There is a ticketable offenses in there, and hopefully we don't have to get to that level.
Councillor Roberts?
Thank you. That said, have we had many accidents with the e-bikes? I know it's been very publicly expressed on television and everything that they're very dangerous and so on and so on. But have we in the neighborhood had very many accidents?
I personally haven't had to go to any e-bike accidents per se. So I know I've heard rumors of, kids breaking arms and, people falling off and hurting themselves. But as far as that might be a question more so directed towards the EHS service, because I don't have any numbers for that. Sorry. No, I haven't had any vehicle strikes. So.
Councillor Cairns?
Presentation, really appreciate it. And I want to say thank you for your community involvement and great involvement with youth and throughout the community, much appreciated. And I just wondered, I was just looking for anything that kind of struck me here, and I see missing persons sudden death number of 14 from July to September. And is that a particularly high number, and what kinds of things would we be looking at there? It just seems category. That's
I-
a bit surprising.
Over my career, I've almost been a police officer for 20 years, and I find that especially the sudden death numbers do rise in the summer due to the heat. So sometimes, that plays a factor, and sometimes it's just the way, the numbers work. As far as missing persons go, we do get a lot of, in the summer, we have, parents calling in when their children don't return home on time. So that sometimes gets carded as a missing person as well. So those missing people, we have had a few that, have been deceased, but the majority have been located.
Council, anything further? Okay, I just wanted, I'm glad to see you guys are still doing the food hampers and the coffee with the seniors and those kinds of things. I know Steve talked about it and it always brought such joy to him, it felt like, and I'm glad to see you guys are continuing that. Because it's nice to see you have a positive presence in the community and not like an adversary, not that you're adversarial at all, but you know what I mean, right? It's like the larger context of things. So I'm glad to see that you guys are continuing those programs. And good luck filling in for everybody else for the next little while.
Thank you.
No worries. All right. Thanks, Clint.
Thank you.
I have to just change my glasses so I can read. Okay, so we have some bylaws for first, second, and third reading. So the motion is that council approve first reading of bylaw 2791, amendment number 181, 2025. Do I do the motion and then we do the report? Is that, or, okay. Right, okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so the motion is for first reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor McGuire and Councillor Karen seconds. Troy, am I handing it to Troy? Yes, there he is. Hi, Troy.
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, so just I'll do another quick overview of this proposed zoning amendment. It was discussed at the last meeting here in September that all of council will recall. Apologize for the dog barking in the background there, if you heard that. Yeah, so this, just reminding council, this was, application was submitted in relation to the proposed expansion of an existing car wash use at a property in Marysville, specifically 771 304th Street. And the way this zoning amendment has been drafted is it will in fact apply to all of the C3 zoned parcels in town. If approved, and if approved, will allow for the proposed expansion of an exterior wash bay to the existing service at that address. At the last meeting, council gave direction to staff to give notice of first reading of the proposed amendment, and that was published in the Kootenai Advertiser on October 2nd and 9th and displayed on the city's webpage as well as on the bulletin board at City Hall. No correspondence has been received in relation to this proposal. If council approves all three readings this evening, our next step will be to refer to the Ministry of Transportation and Transit. We require their approval prior to adoption of the bylaw, and if we obtain that, we will, or once that's obtained, we'll return to council for final approval. I'll leave it there in case there's any other questions.
Council, any questions? Councillor Roberts?
You just noted, as you opened that we would look at approved first reading. I'd like to go along with personally choose the recommended option that council approve all three readings.
Can we do them all at once? Just like say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that's
Okay.
the preferred option in the minutes.
Okay. Any? Do we redo the motion?
Right, Councillor McGuire, agree with that?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. This a different curveball for me here. Sorry. So is it just, do we redo the motion for
So-
first, second, third reading?
No, well, we're just changing it.
Oh,
to
okay.
Kind of like, so the new motion to get to vote on is that council approve first, second, and third reading of bylaw 2791, amendment no 181, 2025.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
What Marie
It's
said.
already-
Okay.
It's
Okay.
already out there. We just need to vote.
Okay, so all in favor? And no one's here to be opposed, so there you go. Okay, motion carried. So then, and so, okay, so I'm just gonna, sorry, there's extra pages on everything. So next we have Strategic Priorities Fund grant applications. Need a mover and seconder. Councillor McBain and Councillor McGuire. Jim, are you going to talk on this one?
Yes,
Okay.
I'll give a brief report on this one. So at the last regular meeting on September 8th, council authorized the submission of 2 grant applications, one in relation to the Kimberley Avenue reconstruction project and the other for the integrated water system efficiency and resiliency planning project. The reason this and that previous report is attached for council's information, but the purpose of this one is to just enhance those resolutions a bit. We received feedback from the granting agency that we needed to specify that council was in approval of these applications right within the resolution, and also that council would commit the city to providing overall grant management and supporting any project funding overages. So that's the purpose. There's 2 separate resolutions here, one for each of the projects, each of the grant applications, but it really is just to beef up those resolutions.
Councillor McBain.
So Jim, it's basically just that it just needed to be more explicit, I guess, because it seemed to me like it's inherently there's
Yeah.
support behind those initial resolutions, but it just
Yeah.
wants more.
That's exactly right. The grant guidelines are quite specific on what we need to tell them.
Councillor Roberts?
No, I had no comment.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I was just kind of waiting for you to put a
Okay.
motion.
Okay, so then do we just go to motion? Okay. Wait, call the question. All in favor? Thank you, thank you. Any opposed? Motion is carried. Okay,
Have 2 then.
oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so then the next motion is for council to confirm its support for the integrated water system efficiency and resilience planning project as described in the staff report from the manager of community development and communications and the senior manager of operations dated September 8th, 2025, and commit the city to providing overall grant management and supporting any project cost overruns in accordance with the requirements detailed in the Canada Community Building Fund Strategic Priorities Fund Guide. Councillor McGuire moves, Councillor Roberts seconds, all in favor. There we go. Okay. No one's here to be opposed. Okay. Okay. Good. Motion's carried. Okay. So then the next item is Building Code Fire Stop Education Session. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor McGuire, Councillor McBain seconds. Is this going back to Troy? Are you still with us, Troy? There we go. Hi, Troy. Oh, now I can't hear you. Oh, now I can.
There we go. Yeah, this really just an information piece here. Just want to make sure council's aware of a planned education session with the local building stakeholders. And kudos to Andy Christie, our building official, for helping to plan and coordinate this session. So this will bring stakeholders together to learn more about a specific construction issue, I guess, fire stopping. And we're finding in some of the more recent multi-unit buildings that there seems to be some misunderstandings or not as great of awareness of the fire stopping requirements and how the best practices for implementing those. So we're pulling together some experts in the field and with support of some local builders putting the session on to be held on October 23rd at the Kimberley Conference Center. Kind of a 4-hour session there with lunch included. And yeah, I think we're just over 90 people now, I think, registered for that. So should be a good event. And I think there's still a few spots, hopefully, if anyone's interested that hasn't already signed up, they can reach out to Andy, our building inspector, on that.
Perfect. Council? No? Nobody? Okay. Thanks, Troy. So, call to question. All in favor? All right. Nobody's opposed, so motion is carried. So the next item is related to accessible Halloween initiative from recommendation from the Accessibility Advisory Committee. Do I have a mover and seconder? Councillor McBain moves, Councillor Cairns seconds. This is Jasmine that's going to be talking about this, correct? All right. Oh, from over there? Okay, you're allowed. I don't make the rules. Be comfortable, my dear.
Thank you, Councillor Fox. At the September 8th Accessibility Advisory Committee meeting, committee member Rita Pack presented about treataccessibly.com, which is a resource for how people can make trick-or-treating more accessible, including considerations for children with sensory issues, children who might be trick-or-treating with a caregiver, might be using a mobility aid, or might have trouble navigating some streets in the dark, that sort of thing. Realizing that we are quite close, the recommendation was that they were asking for some city staff support in communicating about the initiative with the community so that we could maybe raise a little bit of awareness. This is outside the scope of the role of the Accessibility Advisory Committee. The mandate is to address accessibility barriers for people interacting with the organization, and this is kind of outside of that scope, but because the resource implication is pretty small and the potential impact for the community is quite large, we thought it was valuable to bring to council for consideration. There are some other municipalities across Canada that are on board. Some municipalities have created Treat Accessible Day or Preparation Day, where they roll out in their communities some communications about it. This is, again, in contravention of the city's proclamation policy to declare such a day, but there is a lot of other support from other municipalities to try and improve information about what accessible trick-or-treating could look like.
Councillor McBain.
Thanks, Jasmine. I think for me, the only questions I would have had would have been just what you noted here under the financial impact, I guess resourcing impact. And since you stated that it's minimal, even though it's going outside of scope, I mean, to me, this is a wonderful initiative. I mean, Halloween is a fun time. It should be fun. Everybody should be out there having fun, and everybody should have the opportunity to have fun as best we possibly can. So to me, this is a no-brainer. Thanks.
Council, anything further? No. I'm on the accessibility committee, so I knew this was coming. Spoiler alert. I think it's a great idea. I also think that the accessibility committee is a group of people who, like, they've done sort of part of their job, but now that they're volunteering, they're like, I want to do stuff. Let's get stuff done. And I think that that's a really awesome thing. So I think that whatever initiatives that they bring forward that we can entertain and look at that obviously aren't, too far out of scope, I think are worth to do that for. So thank you, Jasmine, for all of your work on this. Okay. Call to question. All in favor? Any opposed? Perfect. Motion is carried. Okay. Is there a second part? There is a second part. There's a second part. I jumped ahead. So the second part is that council directs staff to develop a plan to support broader implementation of an accessible Halloween initiative for 2026 and beyond. Councillor Roberts moves, Councillor Cairns seconds. All in favor?
Could I just make a comment?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
That's all right. Won't change my vote. But
Yeah.
I think the idea of sharing out some new ideas with the local businesses is it's an ideal time to do that. If they put together the kind of thing in the plaza like they did last year in the daylight with parents and kids all wandering around and making it available and accessible, I think that the more information they have to do that, the more successful it will be. It was wonderful.
Yeah, excellent. All right. All in favor? Wonderful. Motion carried. Okay. So we are cranking through this, guys. I love it. I love it. That's not the way to say that, but you know what I mean. So the next item is councillor report from UBCM. So would anyone like to share their a few words about their experience at UBCM this past week. Last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. Don't fight over it. Come on now. I can pick. Councillor Roberts, lead us off.
Well, it's a really, I found it very difficult to put a synopsis together. You sit in a voting environment looking at resolutions for a day and a half, 2 days. It's a very emotional perspective that people take on the issues that they want to address. And a good 85% of them have nothing to do with us, but we still have the right to vote on that and support others who may have a problem. The one thing that does become clear is that as a community, that this idea of bringing our resolutions to one place and giving a body the job of bringing our ideas to the government. And our resolutions are serious things to do with medical or transportation or forestry or whatever our issues are, that this is the ideal forum for that. And I don't know if other provinces do it the same way, but this has got to be, coming from the municipality to the regions, from the regions to the UBCM, and getting right down to the nitty gritty and the major points. And I think that that's a very strong decision that's been made. Those are strong decisions. And that UBCM board, which comes from throughout the province, has that job now to bring those ideas forward. So in addition to all the working with others, the meeting with others, the learning how things work, and just the general ambiance of being in a large group of people, it's really a process that I feel very strongly for us in terms of what it's meant to do. So I don't think it's a waste of time on anybody's time.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Who's next? Councillor McGuire.
Yeah, I went in with reserved expectations, let's put it that way. And I came away feeling like it was valuable and that, there was something like 2,000 delegates there. So that's councillors and mayors from across BC. And there's a lot of communities struggling with similar things that our community does. So it was just a really good opportunity to connect with other people that are, doing this work and able to provide perspective, I guess. That's the largest thing I came away with, was just perspective and an ability to, I feel like, do a better job as a counselor. So.
Excellent. Councillor Cairns or Councillor McBain? Nothing.
Summed it up nicely.
Oh, disappointed in you, Jason. Disappointed in you. Councillor Cairns, do you want to say anything? You can say no, but.
Well, I think it's been said, and I really appreciate the opportunity to go to UBCM. It's a real highlight, and and seeing democracy at work in terms of the resolutions. It's a very interesting process, and I'm really it's great to be able to participate. So thanks.
Yeah, I'll just make a couple comments too, because I would echo everything that you guys said. I'd never been before, so I didn't necessarily have any expectations of it. I found the resolution piece sort of like I had that same sort of mindset, like, well, this is what I'm here to do, is vote on all this stuff, right? It was interesting talking to, councillors from other, similar, smaller sized municipalities. I talked to a guy who was from, I can't even remember the name of his community, but I think it had like 800 people in it or something like that. And, a lot of the same issues that we have, he's got. So the thing that I was really struck by, and I've said this to a couple of you sort of in passing, is that a lot of the issues that other communities are facing in the province we're not facing at this point in time. We don't have people overdosing in our library. We don't have, people stepping over, unhoused people to get into their office building. We don't have people waiting 8 hours for an ambulance to get to the hospital. There's a lot of ways where we're really, really lucky here. And that was, I think, one of the biggest things that I took away from that experience. So, yeah. Councillor McBain?
Well, you kind of shamed me into not speaking.
Oh, Jason. Tisk.
No, I would echo Councillor Fox, what you just said. I would almost caveat by applying the word yet to it. That's the part I'm concerned about, and I think Kimberly does a really good job of trying to stay ahead of the curve as much as possible, and recognizing that Cranbrook is, given the proximity to Cranbrook, they do handle a lot of the the social side of things that maybe we don't have to deal with as much. But you're right. It's alarming when you see what other communities are dealing with. I guess the last parting shot that I will leave with was what I find very refreshing when you go to a big conference like that. A lot of times what folks focus on when it comes to politics, whether it's municipal politics or beyond, is they get very kind of mired in the partisan talking spaces, and you kind of get put into a little bit of a box in some ways, or at least a label. And what I really appreciated about being around a lot of local representatives, or mainly local representatives, is the partisan stuff is kind of just out the window, and it's just it's a broader sharing of ideas, and it's in a lot of ways, I think, a better representation of what society is, because we don't all just think one certain way or toe one line. And obviously there were provincial representatives there that are part of political parties, and it's their job to hold the line one way or the other. But it was really quite refreshing to just see a really broad set of ideas from people, and yeah, I thought that was really cool. So
Excellent.
that's it.
Anyone else? Jim, did you have any thoughts that you want to share on your UBCM experience? Put you on the spot. I told you I would. It's not really on the spot.
You did. Gave me a heads up. Nothing really to add other than what council has expressed already, but it was, I thought it was great to see 6 of the 7 around the horseshoe at the conference. It is like this is really the only event where you get to meet that many of your peers and discuss similar issues. There's a lot of talk at UBCM about the issues that some of the bigger lower mainland communities are having, which a lot of it doesn't apply to us. But there's a ton of people there from small town BC, from 800 up to the Kimberleys, Cranbrooks, Nelsons of the world. And I think that's one of the most important parts of that thing, is just to get to talk to folks in other communities. There's a bunch of CAOs there as well, so it's a good opportunity for us to meet as well and do the same thing. So yeah, appreciate the council sending me.
Excellent. Well, appreciate you attending. All right, so we have, there wasn't a formal motion or anything with that, was it? No, okay. All right, so we have a couple of items of correspondence to be received for information. Any comments from council regarding them? Councillor Cairns?
Thanks. So the invitation to put in an expression of interest to the Youth Parliament of BC, I see that the deadline for that is October 31st. I know I sent it off to a number of people, but I just wondered if it had been distributed to Selkirk formally, or any other organizations, youth organizations. No. Okay.
It as not. So we can definitely do it if you would like us to. At the same time, it's not something that's been supported in the past, so that.
Yeah, I went ahead and I sent it to contacts at the College of the Rockies and at Selkirk, and Kimberley Youth Action Network, and several others who are involved with youth, so it's probably sufficient. Thanks.
Okay. Anything else on that? No? Oh,
Just
go ahead.
Council reports.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's what I was going to do. I need a mover and seconder. Councillor McBain moves, Councillor McGuire seconds. All in favor? Excellent. And okay, so councillor updates. Councillor Cairns, you have an update you'd like to share?
And I apologize, my voice is, I've just on the edge. I'm just kind of getting over a bad cold. So yeah, my voice is. No, no, just a council report before we close the agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to note that there was a Nature Park monthly board meeting September 18th, and that there's work advancing on their comprehensive ecosystem assessment, and they're exploring funding for that at the moment. I attended the October 6th town hall on the housing updates to the OCP and the zoning bylaws, and heard concerns from many who were attending about rate of growth, and yet the continuing lack of affordable housing for seniors and families. And there were questions about whether we have adequate water supply and infrastructure to support the rate of growth, and also questions about neighborhood evacuation plans in case of emergency. There was the BC Active Transportation Summit in Kimberley, September 10th to 12th. So that was a province-wide event that was for the first time hosted outside of the Lower Mainland. So that was pretty exciting to have that here. It was great dialogue, hands-on activities. Both Troy and Justin were involved in the planning and making things happen for that, and that was much appreciated. Lots of good information about making roads safer for all users, safe and active schools, walkable neighborhoods, broad accessibility. I have a few handouts here from that event. And the other item was the October 2nd, we had a watershed committee tour and meeting. It was a very full meeting with participation from Akam, Tanaka, Fire Chief Booth, BCTS, CAN4, Friends of Mark Creek Wild Site, Kimberley Trail Society, Aquatex, and Rob Topping and Nick Morissette chaired. So great discussion on forest management, including harvesting treatment with the goal of protecting water quality through wildfire risk reduction. So lots to balance there. And that's it for me.
Excellent. Anyone else? Councillor Roberts?
Well, I wasn't quite as busy as that, but I just know that I was attended the Chamber of Commerce AGM this month, and the time's going so fast that they had a nice turnout and had their accountant online to present, which worked out really well. They're coming up with some interesting strategies, some interesting new plans, and I'm hoping that maybe things will look a little different for them in the near future. So we'll see how things go.
Yeah, absolutely. Councillor McBain?
Yeah. Well, from committee news, one thing that I'm not happy to report is from the library committee is that we are our current director is moving on. Though we wish her luck, and I know she will do really well. She is going to be sorely missed. She has done a wonderful job with the group. She joined us right after a pretty challenging time with the library, and when I feel pretty safe to say that there was. I would say just the overall morale was pretty rough within the committee and within the staff at the library, and she really turned things around, and is just a wonderful person to be around. So we wish her luck, and so there'll be a new director at some point here soon. The other thing, this past Saturday, as we all know, Mayor McCormick is on the road right now, so I filled in for him and dropped the puck at the first game for the Purcell Collegiate women's team. And I was joined by Joe Pierre from the Taha Nation. And it was a cool event. And I wish them a lot of luck as well. They've got, it's crazy. I was talking to one of the representatives from Purcell, and just the road trips that they have to go on it's ugly. I wish the girls well. They're going to be spending a lot of time on the road. So yeah, but yeah, no, it was really cool to just see the excitement and, just see the growth in the women's game. It was awesome.
Excellent. Counselor McGuire, anything from you? No? All right, I got nothing either. Okay, so, members of the public may, do I read that part? The phone number part?
If you want, I can.
Does anyone?
You already that there is nobody
Okay,
online.
we'll
So
skip the
when
part.
there's
So there's
nobody
here
in
online.
the
We'll skip
gallery.
that.
so-
Okay, we'll just skip to the next part. So, yeah, I guess we're moving to go, oh no, we're moving to go into camera. So the meeting immediately following this meeting is to be closed to the public pursuant to the community charter as the subject matter being considered relates to section 90. Mover and seconder, please. Counselor McBain, Counselor Roberts seconds. All in favor? All right. Okay,